the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as always, man, coming to you from ESPN 97.5, 92.5, getting ready to do this thing, getting ready to do it because I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good. But actually, I'm recovering. But I'm getting better. Had a little accident on Tuesday at NXT. I got hit with a pillow.
Right.
Hardest shot I ever took. But what a day.
Was that stiffer or was the Knobs bag of popcorn stiffer? What was the stiffer shot that you took?
The Knobs bag of popcorn. No, man, I'm having so much fun with NXT, with the young guys, definitely bringing it. Had a chance to do the contract signing as well. Not the contract signing, but just a sit down interview with the ladies as well, as far as Roxanne Perez, the champion, JC Jane, the challenger, as well as Gigi Dolan. Man, I'm loving everything that's going on, the fight that they got in. You know, Roxanne, I taught her better than that. I taught her to watch her back. I taught her, you know, you gotta keep your head on a swivel. So I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna, you know, jump in the middle of that or anything like that. That right there is called on the job training. You feel me? You know, so she'll learn from this. She'll learn and she'll grow from it as well. You know, my mama said, you big enough to pass a lick. Vengeance Day, somebody better be big enough to take one.
Well, I'm glad that you're recovering and you didn't have any too big of a long-lasting issues for your neck and the support, because, you know, reality wrestling does have to bring it to the Toyota Center for the Houston Rockets, part of the festivities there. So we need to make sure that you're 100%, Book.
100%,
you know?
man. I've been working out. I've been training. I'm still waiting on my invitation. The Rumble coming up. Still waiting on my invitation. I've been training. You see the pictures I posted, you know, after that last match, you know. So I've been in the gym. I've been training. I've been underground. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna tell you, when you go underground training, Brad, you have no idea what that is all about. Okay. Trust me, you have no idea. This CrossFit and all that stuff don't compare, you know, at all to going deep underground. And that's why I've been, man. I've been in the trenches. So I'm waiting on something to come in the mail. All right. I just want to get that out there.
You're like the guy who breaks up with the girl and is expecting her to call him back, right? And then even it gets to her wedding day and she's saying "I do" to another man. You're still saying, "I got a shot."
Bro, it's been like this for the last few years. You know, I've been like, you know, like we're just waiting on that invitation. You know, you guys like me, people don't understand. And I've seen people say, "Man, why don't you just declare yourself in the Rumble?" Let me get you guys the rules of the Rumble. You can only declare if you're an active member on the roster. You know, you can't be a retired, you know, alumni and declare yourself. Okay, they have to actually send you an invitation. You know, and with that invitation, it's a you know, it's a little something else to go with it. We ain't got to talk about that. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I'm waiting on both of them.
Well, keep on waiting. We'll see what happens. Royal Rumble is, of course, this Saturday in San Antonio, Texas. My favorite show of the year is the Royal Rumble, so I can't wait to see it. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about that, Book. We do have super chats rolling in. I just want to ask, what did you think of Raw 30? And more importantly, what did you think of the trial of Sami Zayn?
You know, man, honestly, I didn't get a chance to see a whole lot of it. I was traveling, man. I was going from Houston to Orlando. I had to get ready for NXT. That's the reason why I couldn't be there. I was just coming off of filming wrap up WWE Treasures in Connecticut. So I was real busy. I just didn't have a whole lot of time, you know, to actually. I wanted to be there. You know what I mean? Like I said, I had a party set up. Me and Rick Flag, and the Nature Boy, we was going, you know, stay up all night and stay a little longer. But we didn't get a chance to do that just because I was busy, man. I was real busy, and more importantly, I was tired, man. I was like so freaking tired. So give me the gist.
Well, I will say, as far as memorable opening segments in recent Raw memory, this trial of Sami Zayn was one of the best things the show's done in a long time. When we talk about wrestling, for me, the thing that brought me into it, like which made me keep watching, was not the moves. It was not even the matches. It was the stories. And hearing the guys tell the stories and talking me into the building, right? When we talk about promos,
Yeah,
promoting a match,
yeah.
promoting an angle. And this trial of Sami Zayn probably went 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, and there was not a lull in the action. I was sitting there watching my wife, and we were cracking up at Paul Heyman. We felt scared at one point for Sami Zayn. We felt happy when Jey Uso stepped up for him and gave him a hug. Like it really brought you through the emotions. And it sounds so silly because it's your wrestling angle, but like everybody on social when I was looking, because the next day they announced the Oscars, and everybody was like, "Where's Jey Uso on this list?" Because they acted their behinds off in this trial of Sami Zayn thing, and it was such a great segment. Like it was one of the top ones in recent memory.
Well, I know the ratings were really, really high for the show. Got 2.3, million people, something like that. 2.4 million people watching it. So that right there tell you that people was really interested in checking it out, and as well as seeing it's always good seeing the legends, man, come back and just be a part of the show. And I think seeing Kurt Angle out there,
The
referee.
DX.
Yeah, referee in the match, whatnot. It was cool, you know what I mean? And to see Kurt moving around, I was surprised Kurt was moving around real
It
good.
was quick.
I was like, wait a minute, Kurt might be trying to lobby for another match or something there. But nah, man, the fans let the world know, as well as the attendance. The attendance was high,
Sold out.
So I'm all in, man. I'm wondering, how the Rumble gonna be. I'm wondering, what that crowd's gonna be like, coming off the anniversary. So it's definitely gonna be hyped.
It's gonna be hyped. And speaking of Kurt, I love how DX kind of plays to the fact that Billy Gunn isn't there, right? But they still reference him
Yeah,
because Road Dogg was doing the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's the Road Dogg, Jesse James, and then he cuts. He goes, "It's the bet," and he sees it's Kurt Angle standing there in a DX shirt, and it was just so funny the way that they do it, man. Like
yeah,
those
yeah,
guys have epic chemistry with each other, and
yeah, yeah,
they're so
yeah.
funny. And Kurt, as great of a wrestler as he is and or was, excuse me, he really fits into those comedy segments as he always has. So funny, man.
Yeah, that's one thing in Kurt's biography that we talked about was how he was able to adjust from being an Olympic caliber wrestler that you had to be like ultra laser focus to be able to go through something like that, not just to go through it, but to win a gold medal in the condition that he was in with a broken neck. Let this dude is the real deal. You in Kurt's prime, you did not want to screw around with him, and then to see him morph into a guy with, I always refer back to the ukulele and the little cowboy hat segment. So it just was. I always say in this business, you gotta be able to have the ability to laugh at yourself. And Kurt was able to make that adjustment. So give him a lot of credit, man. Hell of a transition. We got to take a break. Stick around, hey, we got a lot to talk about. Stick around. You in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
How well do you think you know your wrestling? I've prepared some trivia questions right here for you. So let's go and take a look. How was that? I hope you did well. Now let's throw it back over to Brad and Booker for the Hall of Fame.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. I just got an update. Reality of Wrestling now will not be doing the Rockets halftime event.
Oh, okay.
Some logistics just came through, and you know how when me and my brother first went down to Global, and Tiger Cutaway, he said, I heard you guys, I heard you guys went down to Global, huh? And we said, yeah, we went down to Global, and he said, I just want to let you know, the money is gone. I just want to say that. So we won't be going down. We're gonna be staying at home tonight and heading down to Reality Wrestling and get some work done, man. Yeah, they owe me for a truck.
Well, okay, unfortunate news, but we'll move on. Hey, you're talking about the guys. We're in the last segment. We were talking about Raw 30 and Kurt Angle and how he added not only great wrestling to his repertoire, but being a great character on the show and connecting with the audience in just a different way than the moves and the move sets. A guy I want to highlight from Raw 30 is somebody who we actually had on this show actually live in LA before he was even signed to WWE. He used to go by Eli Drake back then. He goes by LA Knight now. He and Bray Wyatt are going to have a pitch black match at the Royal Rumble. He had a segment with The Undertaker on Raw 30, and not just any Undertaker, the return for the first time in like almost 20 years of the American Badass. And LA Knight is so confident on the microphone, and he's the heel, but he still has the crowd wanting to do the sing along with him whenever he goes LA Knight, yeah, or whatever that yeah thing that he hits. The crowd likes this guy, man. They're behind him.
Well, I mean, certain guys, you just need to give them a push, man. You just need to, give them a shot. And I think that dude, he's been waiting on this shot for a long time. He did it down in NXT. And I think he was over there, as well, but he really didn't get, like the push, like the rocket put on you and, let's send this guy to the moon type of push. He's pretty much been creating everything since Eli Drake to LA Knight and to what he's doing right now. He's done that. He's done a whole lot of that on his own. You know what I mean? He's made the fans buy into him pretty much, with the same shtick. He hadn't changed it up or anything. He's just been running with it and saying, you're going to buy in or not. This is who I am. Even though a lot of people may, look at him and, see hear a Stone Cold Steve Austin, that Stone Cold Steve Austin feel. But sometimes there are guys that come along that have that feel just like a guy that came along, before them. That's just the way it is. It's this guy named Rivera right now. He's a boxer, and he comes into the ring, and he wears white trunks and white boots with tassels on them, and he's got Ali on his trunks, and he looks almost just like Ali did when he was young. You know what I mean? So I get it. You know what I mean? But he's been doing a hell of a job. I always said I thought this guy was talented. He showed up at our show in LA.
Yeah, he showed up at the show in LA, and I actually remember you saying to him that night, there's a little green room area to the side at the place that we did it, and you were talking to him, and you were like, you literally said, bro, you need to be in the WWE. And boom, there he is now. And he was Max Dupree for a second. And
that wasn't working out, though.
That wasn't going to work. This LA Knight works. And I'm excited for him. I'm really happy to see him. And they're not going to give that rub of being up there with The Undertaker to anybody, especially to just anybody, especially not on the Raw 30th anniversary show, especially not the American Badass version of The Undertaker. So obviously the company sees something in LA Knight, not just the fans. I think that's pretty cool. And you're right. He does have like a stunning Steve Austin era vibe to him with a little Stone Cold mixed in. I never pointed that out. I never thought about that, but there's definitely some similarity there.
Yeah, that's what I see. That's what I mean. But like I say, he's not. It doesn't seem like he's trying to imitate imitate Steve Austin or anything. He seemed like he's just being himself. But he may be one of those guys, one of those kids that grew up, watching Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Steve Austin was one of those guys that was watching a guy by the name of Gorgeous Gary Young. People may not know that, but Gorgeous Gary Young is Steve Austin is Gorgeous Gary Young. I always say that all the time. He stole every one of his moves. You know what I mean? If you go back, if you can find some old film of Gorgeous Gary Young, you'll go, man, this guy does work just like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Throws punches, kicks, everything. That's what Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think, was created down there in Dallas, Texas at the Sportatorium.
Well, there you go. And Eli Knight is just LA Knight is just carrying on that legacy. What do you think of this pitch black match thing? I don't really know what to expect at all.
I don't know what to expect either. I mean, have they talked about the rules or anything like that?
Not that I know of. It's kind of like, remember when they had the Boneyard match and everyone was like, what the hell is a Boneyard match? And we didn't know until we saw it.
Is it supposed to be cinematic?
No, I think it's in the arena and it's supposed to be pitch black or like a literal dark match.
I don't know, man. That's one we got to wait to see, and see if it pass the smell test, see if it hold up, and we like it. Give it thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't know. I can't say.
I think it was Jake Roberts and Rick Martel, I believe, who did the blindfold match. In WWF.
I remember that, and that match sucked.
You didn't like the blindfold match?
I think he slipped into the DDT or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What I liked about the blindfold match was the psychology, because it was essentially Marco Polo with the crowd, right? like Jake would just walk around like this with his hands in front of him. They don't know where they are, and then Jake would just point to one side of the ring, and the crowd would go, "No,
yeah.
To the other side of the ring, they go,
like a game show or something. Yeah.
Right. Blindfold match, man. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't know what the pitch black match is going to be, so I'm just going to wait and see like everybody else.
We got a couple super chats. Let's address them here as they come up. Ross Ferguson says, "Hey, Booker T, what is the coolest finishing move you've ever seen?"
Coolest finishing move I ever seen. I think the coolest finishing move, I think, that really popped me the first time I saw it was that damn Petey Williams when he did that
Canadian Destroyer.
Canadian Destroyer, man. That move right there, it looks so complicated. When you see it, it looked like it hurt so bad. But when you really go through the technique of it, it's like the easiest bump in the world. It looks devastating. I go, good God, man, I didn't think of that move. That Canadian Destroyer was definitely the one I think for me was like, wow, that's a hell of a move.
I agree with you. That was actually going to be my answer as well. I love the Canadian Destroyer. I just remember, like you said, when I saw that, I didn't know Petey Williams from Adam, right? But when I saw that Canadian Destroyer, I remember Petey Williams' name, right? And it's probably also the most bastardized move now because everybody remember we saw the Bad Bunny hit a Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah. It's actually Roxanne Perez's finisher.
It's Roxanne's finisher. That's right.
Yeah. But that move, that Canadian Destroyer was so innovative for it to be able, for someone to figure that out because it's not really that difficult at all for anyone to do. Anyone can do it, but it looks, when you look at it, you go, wow, when someone do it right, so that move is definitely the one.
We have another one here. This comes from Jason Marone, who says, "This booking stuff ain't easy. Some want Sammy or Rock or Cody to win. Some want the title split. Others don't. I do not envy the creative team." That's actually what that quote was from Triple H on Monday night. He literally said in the ring, he goes, this booking stuff ain't easy in the segment. But yeah, it's not. You just got to go with your gut sometimes, right?
Yeah, you got to go with your gut. Sometimes I was listening. Actually, I was reading something, and then we're talking about where in the beginning, well, the choice wasn't to go with Bianca Belair. It was to go with Charlotte Flair, I think, when Bianca won the title. And someone said, we got to be able to create some new stars, and we can't pass up on this one right here. And so boom, they went with Bianca, and Bianca definitely been holding up her end of the bargain as far as being someone that you can look at as a champion, and that's what sometimes you got to do. You got to be able to pull the trigger and say, man, we got, I know you guys may want to go that route, but we gotta go this route right now. We can work our way back around to that, but tonight, this is what we got to do. And yeah, I get it, and it's not an easy job at all. I mean, just booking reality of wrestling. It's not easy to try to make sure we keep everybody, moving in the right direction from a star power perspective. And everybody can't be a star at the same time.
No, not everybody can be a star at the same time. You got to know when to heat guys up and cool them off.
Yeah,
Get them in the main event, get them in the mid card. I mean, it's a juggling act.
really is. Really is.
And then, the thing that I don't envy about wrestling, and I know we probably got to take a break soon,
Yeah,
but the thing I don't envy about booking is you can have, because fans are always like, man, why don't they book long-term stories? Well, it's like, you can have the greatest long-term story in the world until the guy twists his ankle. It can't be on the show or gets an injury.
That's true.
You know
That's
what I mean?
true. Yeah, that's true. But that's the deal. I talked about that too. About when you're in that position, they got to be able to trust you to make every show. That's why the Miz is so valuable. Seriously, stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Have you ever thought about training at the Reality of Wrestling facility? Well, I could tell you all about it, or I could let our students do that for you.
Hi, my name is Dominic Marchese. I've been training at Reality of Wrestling for 5 months. If I could give anybody a piece of advice, it'd be stay consistent.
Hello, my name is Kyrie Stanberry. I've been training here for about a year now. Some advice is be yourself, stay consistent, and most importantly, have fun.
I'm John Kilpatrick. I've been training here about 2 weeks now. Any advice I had to give would probably be cardio and bring it in intensity every day.
Hi, my name is Julian Marino. I've been training for about 7 months, and the advice I can tell you is to leave your ego at the door, bring a notebook, and be prepared to learn.
Welcome back to the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, man, want to be a part of Reality of Wrestling? Go to realityofwrestling.com. Do it. Do it now, because I do it for you. Hey, man, we got any more super chats?
Yeah, we do. This one comes in here from DJ 1491. Are the Shoop shirts available in tank tops for the gym so we can show off the shine and the gloss?
You know what? Ship shirts can be made from a tank top perspective. I told you guys the ship shirts was on the way, didn't I? I said that. I said the ship shirts was on the way. They are on the way. I know Brad got a lot of skepticism. Let's just say that.
That's polite. Polite way of saying it.
Yeah. Let's just say that. But the ship shirts are specially designed because we want them to be right. We don't want to drop the ball on this one right here because these are alive and hot. I'm talking about hot off the press. And you see how I look right now? I'm looking real jack, right? I'm looking real jack. Just imagine. Shup. Oh, yeah.
Well, we by the way, have another super chat here. Let me get to it because I just saw some news that might have just broken, but I'm going to confirm it before I get there.
Ship shirts.
Unify Rex said went to a TASW wrestling event in Conroe and saw a couple of reality wrestling guys in action. I loved it.
Awesome, man. The reality wrestling guys try to get around and give back to the independent world. We don't try to hold our guys down or anything like that. And I tell you, when you see someone like a Mysterious Q or a Brian Keith, a Ruthless Ryan Davison out there, man, support those guys, man. If they got some merch, make sure you guys get a t-shirt or something because those guys, they work hard, man. They work hard out there trying to make it to this next level. And that game, when you're on the independent scene, you need every dime you can get. Trust me. So support those guys.
Let's see. We got one super chat here that just came in from Ross Ferguson. Booker T, do you still have any of your props or costumes from WWE, and what was your favorite? What's the favorite boxing memorabilia you have?
My favorite boxing memorabilia probably would be this print right here. You know, my nephew had that specially made for me of Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. I got a pair of his boxing gloves, you know, right over here to my left as well. So I think that's my best boxing memorabilia. As far as wrestling props or anything like that, now I don't have any of that stuff, man. I wasn't one to want to hold on to anything. I wish I had the TV title, the WCW TV championship. I wish I had, swiped that, at the end of my run. But it's the only thing I really think about as far as memorabilia go, trunks and boots. I do have my one pair of King Booker, my white boots that I wore. Those are the only ones I still have. And I say those, I'm going to hold on to those, forever.
Well, there you have it. Last one of Super Chats before we move on to more news. P Serious, what do you think of Powerslap? That's the new UFC venture.
Yeah. Hey, man. People are entertained, man. People are entertained just about anything, man. You can put two whatever together and, people bet on it, And then the thing here, this is nothing new or anything like that. Dana White is just jumping in, man, and say, man, let's try to make some money off of this. Let's bring it to mainstream TV. They've been doing this thing for a while, and I always been like, wow, what makes someone want to do that? Even women do it, and we talk about CTE and brain damage. What do you think you're going to get from something like that over a period of time, man? We're going to have a bunch of Looney Tunes running around out of here.
Yeah, really.
We keep coming up with ideas like this. That's what I think about it.
I think it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen on television. I'll be honest with you. I sat and watched a little bit of the event, and it's one of the dumbest. You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember it used to come on after Raw? Do you remember Slam Ball? Do you remember this? Slam Ball used to come on TNN or whatever station Raw was on at the time, and it was a basketball sport. But instead of a court, they played on trampoline.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
And it was so stupid when you watch it because you can't dribble a ball on a trampoline. So they were just literally running around with a basketball trying to do dunks all day.
Yeah.
And it was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And that's what Powerslap
Well, it was almost like the video game. It was like a video game.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It was a live video game. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
And that's what Powerslap is like. It's like this
No,
is not
man,
something
that stuff is dangerous. Powerslap.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's just no way something like that is good for the human being. I just don't think God put us here to do that as a sport. And how much money you getting paid to do that? I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now. I got uppercut from Dave Taylor, wrestler from England back in the day, and I was calling myself being tough. I wanted to show my toughness one night, and he hit me with that uppercut, boom, and I said, "Give me another one, boom." And he gave me another, boom. He gave me like about 4 or 5 of them, and we finished with the match. I ended up winning the match, and when I got home the next day, my neck was so swollen. That gland had swollen up. I had to go to the hospital. You know what I mean? So imagine what what's going to happen with these fools, after a few slaps, a few competitions. It's going to be nuts. They have to shut it down. They have to shut it down within 5 years. It's going to be crazy. Trust me.
Oh, that's giving it too much credit. I think 5 years is. I mean, maybe it goes that long, but I don't see any longevity in this.
I'm just saying. I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt.
And when you talk about pay, I would say one of the stars on the rise for the UFC would be a guy like a Paddy Pimblett, right? Paddy the Baddy. People are saying his name more and more.
Yeah.
And in his last few fights, not his last fight, but fights before that, he was getting paid 12 and 12. So what do you think these Powerslap guys are getting paid?
3 and 3. 3 and 3.
Shoot. I mean,
2,500, 2,500.
Whatever the minimum is.
I mean, I'm serious. It can't be worth it. It can't be. But what's crazy today though is people will do anything to be a star.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I didn't really care about the stardom. I just want the money. You know what I mean? I just want. I'm serious. I'm not lying. I did not care about being a star at all. People say, man, if I could give all my titles back and they say, man, we're going to give you $1 million a year for these last 32 years, and you ain't winning no titles or anything. And I'll be like, oh, I'm in. I'm serious. No problem. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna know who you. I don't care. You know what I mean? Just give me the money. You know. But but it's crazy, man. These days, people are willing to sell their soul to be stars, man. This YouTube and internet world has changed the world, bro. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah, and Powerslap's just another thing on the docket that people can try to do. But again, you're right. Like I don't know, just wasn't fun to even watch. So this I haven't confirmed this, but someone said it was 2,000 to participate in Powerslap. It's from VSAR 223. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he said in the chat. Which
That's
is
how much
not
you
enough.
that was the payoff.
That was to participate.
Oh, you got to pay to get in.
So, no, I think that means like if you're an
Oh,
active
if you're
competitor,
in
you're
it, if
getting
you
paid.
okay, two grand.
Would you
Hey,
take
man.
would you even would no, would you take a slap today from a grown man for
I wouldn't
$2,000?
take one from Charmel. I'm serious, man. That hurts. You know what I mean? You get
That
slapped.
hurts.
Those guys, they don't just be slapping. They come all the way from the east side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, just imagine, there's no way your timing can be right every time. Somebody's gonna get slapped in the ear, top of the head, the temple, something sooner or later, Somebody's gonna end up dying from getting hit, from one of those. Those guys, man, those guys are serious when they do that stuff, and I'm serious. It's not for me. Let's just say that it's not for me. I won't be watching.
You won't be watching Powerslap. Well, are we still good on? Do we need to take a break? My clock says we're getting close.
My clock said we got 1 minute left.
Okay. One thing I do want to talk about is, of course, we know the Royal Rumble is this Saturday in San Antonio, Texas.
I'm getting the Winnebago ready right now, dog. Steaks, baked potatoes, everything. I'm getting ready to make that ride. I'm gonna have some fun this Rumble. I'm gonna have some fun. I'm going in a day early, actually, and hang out at an RV park, and then do the thing on Saturday. Kickoff show is gonna be live. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm excited for the kickoff show. Excited for the Royal Rumble. A lot of talk about Cody Rhodes. Some talk about The Rock. And even your former tag team partner of yours, Rob Van Dam, says he might be showing up in the Rumble.
I've been hearing his name out there, man, to see my boy come. I said, the one person I want to see is RVD, because RVD, man, say what you want to say about him. He still got the hops. I might want to see Too Cold Scorpio come back too, because he still got the hops. Yeah.
Too Cold does?
Too Cold.
I thought Too Cold was supposed to come down a row. Are we still doing that ever?
I mean, sooner or later we're gonna do it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Too Cold Scorpio, the brother can fly, when he was in his 20s. Now he's in his 50s, and he still can fly just as good. I don't even understand it.
And he's a big guy.
I do not understand how this guy still have that ability, and why his body is still capable to even do some of the stuff he still does. Unbelievable talent, man. Always have been. I guess always will be. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
What's up, this Booker T, two-time Hall of Famer. I know you're checking out the shine, checking out the gloss. I want to thank you guys for checking out Row on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to click and subscribe to check out all the latest content right here each and every week. Now, can you dig that, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. You know what? We haven't talked never talked about AEW and what's going on with AEW. And we need to get some clicks. You know, what's going on?
It's interesting you bring them up. They actually just announced today a deal with DAZN to broadcast all AEW shows, I think, in several international markets, which was big for them.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing. Now, Tony Khan, if you remember, is maybe a little over a year ago, Kenny Omega was the champion over an Impact as well, and he was doing these little promos where he would kind of talk smack to people, right? And Tony did one where he was talking about the con man that lives in Connecticut, right? Referring to Nick Khan, the now CEO, the sole CEO of the WWE. And Nick Khan did an interview with the Ringer's Bill Simmons last week and talked about a variety of things, including Stephanie McMahon's exit from the company, Vince McMahon's return, the potential sale, the fake Saudi Arabia story. And he was asked about AEW and does he see them as competition? He gave a lengthy response, including saying this, and I just want to get your reaction to the quote. He said a couple things. First, I've never met the kid, Tony Khan. He seems like a nice kid. I don't know him. I met his dad, who randomly I sat next to at some sports luncheon with Stephanie about a year and a half ago. I thought his dad was super impressive. There's a piece on him in the New York Times. He's a self-made billionaire. He goes on to say, I don't think he's involved on the wrestling side of the business outside of just financing it. He's got the pockets, and I'm sure his kid appreciates it. But I've never been threatened by that. I don't feel threatened by anyone and anything. I just know we have the best product with the best talent, the best riders, and I think that we're in good shape. When he continued and said this, I think referring to AEW and saying, anyone can run a business at a loss. That's easy. As long as someone continues to finance it. He says, I haven't seen AEW's books, but I know our books, which are public, highest grossing revenue in 2022, highest profitability in 2022, and other big factors on why we're exploring a sale. So send a couple little shots over to Tony Khan. But what do you think of Nick Khan's comments?
Facts. That's what I think about it. More than anything, it's facts as far as the numbers, and the thing is, I've said that about AEW for quite some time. I say that those guys spending a whole lot of money. Those contracts are long term. A lot of them are long term. Man, I smell WCW. As far as I know 100%. When WCW was at its peak, and we had to be losing money. We had to be, otherwise the company wouldn't have closed down.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah. If you were making money, the company's not going anywhere.
If they're making money, ain't nobody talking about nothing but how can we make more of it?
100%.
That's normally the way people that's making money think. Man, how much more? I mean, how deep this rabbit hole goes. You know what I mean? And with AEW signing guys like CM Punk, and guys like Chris Jericho, guys like Christian, guys like Goldust, Cody, those guys, MJF now want big money, and we hear about how contracts are structured, and over there it doesn't seem like that's the same structure, because it's like a number. What do you want? I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't even want to get too far deep in the weeds or anything like that, but I've heard the stories as far as the way they do contracts, as far as what how much do you want? How much can I get? You know what I mean? I want this much. Is that type of negotiation? Oh, good. That's enough. It's one of those type of deals. And I saw when WCW, I give Eric Bischoff a lot of credit, but I saw when WCW was bringing in guys and paying them boatloads of money to do nothing, to not bring a rating to the show. I felt like, man, we're definitely in a place where we don't want to be. And I look at AEW, it's a lot of guys on their roster that's not even, I wouldn't say they're not capable of helping the show. They're just not in a position to help the show, because there's not enough room for everyone to actually be able to be able to create like stars. You know what I mean? It's just not enough room. You know,
Right.
with all of those guys on the roster, half of those guys could I'm gonna go say cut half of those guys, but half of those guys on the roster are just waiting, in catering. Waiting to see when are they going to get their shot. And that right there for me is just not, good business. WCW, same way. They had a bunch of guys that were just sitting at home making money, and they weren't active. There wasn't when I got guys, just it's like having a football team. You know, I got those guys on the sideline just in case one of my guys get hurt. Okay. But I ain't gonna have 10 guys on the sideline for that same job.
Right. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
That's, I think, what the problem is.
Yeah. Going off of what Nick Khan said, I thought it was well within his right to make a little comment if that's what he wanted to do, and I thought it was kind of funny. But I don't know. Like AEW does seem to be spending a lot of money on Surface. Now I don't know what they're making on these houses. And I know their last contract was like $160 million over a few years, but I think that they probably got several, over tens of millions of dollars in talent contracts to pay off over the next few years, right? I mean, Jericho's saying that he's got his highest contract ever when he signed with AEW. Jim Ross had the most lucrative announcing contract in history. I can only imagine that they have big payouts going to these guys. And here's the thing I'll say. The future AEW is going to be dependent upon what they get out of their television rights negotiation. If Turner and Warner Brothers Discovery forks over some more money, and I say starting at 30 to 50% more than what they're getting now, they're going to be in a good place. They'll probably have some profitability coming long term. Obviously, everyone loses money at the beginning.
Yeah.
But if they don't get that money, man, some of those contracts aren't going to look so favorable to the AEW office anymore.
Hey man, I try not to get into the office or anything like that, but I just feel like it's a lot of guys on the roster that's just on the roster, and I need guys on the roster that's going to be effective as far as being able to pull me some numbers, some ratings, and put some behinds and seats. Like I said, they're not just going to be on the roster just to be on the roster.
Right, I hear you.
Yeah.
But I will say this to all the boys getting paid. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Get your paper, baby. Get your paper.
I'm never gonna be mad at the boys getting the payoff.
No, that's not what this is all about at all. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
Right.
the financial state of a company as far as them making money or
But-
not, or if they're just spending money just to look like they're a major company.
And like Nick said, they're a private company. We don't know what their books are. They could be making a bunch of money. I just don't know.
I remember when I first came to WWE, right? And I said, "Hey, man, I need to get some tickets for the show. I got some people coming tonight." And Earl Hebner was the ticket guy back then, and he goes, "How many do you need?" I said, "I need 15." And he goes, "Hey, Book, I know you come from WCW, but we sell tickets here." All right, can I get 2?
Oh, look, we sell tickets here at the WWF.
I swear to God, that's what he telling me, man.
Hilarious.
I swear to God, I'll never forget that, man. Seriously.
Hilarious. But congratulations to all of them. Hopefully AEW is here for another 20 years and there's more jobs for everybody. I don't know.
Definitely, 100%.
But I know we're almost wrapped up here.
Yeah.
We only got a few minutes left. So I have to ask you, on the spot, on the button, who are the winners of the men and women's Royal Rumbles? Let's book it and take it to the bank. Who we putting money on? I know you don't like to book the show. I know you don't like betting on wrestling. But if you had to put your money on somebody in both match, who would it be?
Of course, in the men's, it's going to be Cody Rhodes.
All right, I like it.
Cody Rhodes is going to win. And in the women's, it's going to be the Rip.
Those are strong choices, man.
The Rip it's time for the Rip to get that push. It's time for the Rip to come out of that shadow of the women, and I think, being able to just sit back in the wings, watch and wait, with Judgment Day as of late has given her a little bit of time to get that that hunger back to go out there and really take control of that women's division. Like I really think she can. I really think Rhea Ripley is the future of the women's division.
I agree. I love Rhea Ripley. This Judgment Day run has reinvigorated her, and I think has made her a must-see star on that division. And like, and Becky, I love Becky. I love Charlotte, Bailey and all them. But they've had a good run on top. Like I want to see some new people. Like Bianca Belair, if she's let's say she's the Rock of this generation, let's just say, they need that Steve Austin figure on the women's side. And who better than Rhea Ripley?
I think it's time to, we need to see a ripper. That's what we need to see, man. We need to rip, to let loose. So I'm looking forward to seeing Rhea Ripley go out there and bring it home.
The Royal Rumble should be a show to remember. Of course, there's the pitch black match, which we'll see with LA Knight and Bray Wyatt, the Royal Rumble itself, and Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns, who had a banger of a match a few years ago at the Royal Rumble, even though they had that little snafu with the handcuffs. You remember that in that last man standing match?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Where Roman couldn't get him off and then just ended up like squatting to stand up and all that. It almost looked like Take. I love Take. It looks like he had a little issues with the bike on Raw. Like that bike was not cooperating with him at all.
Yeah, a little issue, a little starter problem, maybe too much gas in the carburetor. It could be anything.
You never know. Definitely not user error.
That's live TV, man. It's just the way it works sometimes. But hey, man, we got to get up out of here, man. We got to get up out of here. There again, guys, check the Rumble out going down this Saturday night. Kickoff show. I'll be there doing my thing. And I'm going to tell you, I got a nice suit. I'm going to put on. It's going to be player, baby. So, guys, check it out. I want to thank everybody that stuck around and stepped inside the Hall of Fame, got your champagne wishes, caviar dreams. Bradley, as always, man, we appreciate you. But right now, guys, peace. We out this mug. Shop.